if DEI isn't forced as
DEI mandates.
A department that has, in my opinion, wasted time and resources on these woke agenda pieces like diversity, equity, and inclusion.
DEI, to me, isn't the issue here. Karen Bass is doing a bad job, you say. Then criticize her for that. But every time a black person does a bad job, if you call them a DEI hire, that becomes nothing more than a dog whistle and a racist slur.
DEI. What in the world is DEI? And why all of a sudden are so many people talking about DEI all of a sudden? Well, from that opening clip, is because the Trump administration is bringing up this term DEI over and over and over again. So let's get into it. What is DEI? DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. It's a program that's implemented by the government to make sure that companies reflect or understand the changing population. Meaning, well, I'm just going to put it out there. Mainly, it was basically a program that was implemented so that conservative people can understand that society is changing, to accept the LGBTQ agendas. You know, when a woman decides to transform into a man and insist that you keep calling her a man even though you're looking at her, she looks like a woman. DEI was implemented by the government to make sure that all businesses reflect the populations and the culture that's in America right now. So for example, I'm an African American and I open up a restaurant on the south side of the city of Chicago. I'm supposed to hire so many Hispanics, Asian people, Japanese people, Indian people, because after all, there are Hispanics, Asians, Japanese people, Korean people, Indian people living here in America, right? That's good in theory. However, where I live, it's about 70% African American, and there are no Asian people that live in my neighborhood. If you go to my church, it's going to be 99.9% African American. If you walk in there as a DEI inspector, you're going to say, what in the world happened? How come there's no diversity in this church? Well, as I said, if you live in an area where it's 100% one culture or one ethnicity, you might not see DEI in that particular environment or business. Well, as you are aware, earlier last week, a helicopter crashed into an airplane. It was so tragic. But listen to what President Trump had to say.
Have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that, and other jobs too, but this was a job that had to be superior intelligence. And I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. And my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses.
So he was saying that possibly this airline incident happened because of DEI hiring practices. And that opened up the vacuum for so many media pundits to say, oh, he is saying that there are African Americans who caused this crash. They're incompetent. This is what he's really inferring. He's saying that all minorities are incompetent and we have to have the best of the best, which happen to be Caucasian. Now, this is how some people interpret his statement, that only Caucasian people are the best of the best. He didn't really say that, but people are saying this is code for get rid of all of the minority people who have been hired by DEI and have displaced us white men, and let's get us back into position. Well, if this has happened because someone has taken someone who has a 65% score over someone who has a 90% score on an aptitude test, well, that's an injustice. But we really don't know what those scores are. I mean, we don't have privy to see what that information is. Only the people hiring can see what the score is. And only they really know why they hired the person. Now, I know people will say, come on, man, you know what's going on. And I'm saying maybe that's true. Maybe someone did get hired just because they were Asian or just because they were Indian, not because they had a 75% or 85% aptitude score. I've seen this play out many times, especially when it's involving jobs of physicality where you may hire someone that is less physical for the job just so you can say you put a female in that position or someone else in that position. I think these things need to be discussed, and it could be an injustice. However, at that particular time that Trump said it, what made so many people angry is obviously because of the tragic loss of so many people's lives, and they didn't think it was an appropriate time to talk about DEI. However, the elephant is out of the bag, so let's cover it. My opinion, I don't think you can create a law to make you like me or me like you. Well, even if the law is created, which it has been, and you hire someone that you don't like, you're just biding the time before eventually you're going to manifest what's already in your heart. And that person is going to come late to work. And you're going to say, see, I knew it. This person is just, not a good worker. He's just a bad choice. I knew it, because you were waiting for the smoking gun. You're waiting for that person to mess up because you already don't like them. You've just been hiding it within your heart. So I don't think a law can change our hearts. And those out there in social media land, you know what can change a person's heart. And you can leave a comment. What do you think can change a person's heart? What do you think can erase all of this? I have a suggestion. Create a good product. When you create a good product, something that everyone wants and they have to have, like Dr. Dre did when he created the Beats by Dre, headphone set. Everyone was buying those headphones. It wasn't only because he was Dr. Dre and he was African American, but when they put the headphones on, they actually liked the product. So when we create something of value that everyone wants and they can't live without, the marketplace is going to vote and say, yeah, I want that product. And it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. When you go out and buy a product, you're not necessarily saying, who created that product? Is that an Asian person who created it? Indian person who created it? Heck, most of the technology that we are enjoying was created or inspired or influenced to some degree by Asian people, Indian people, tech people. So we don't sit back and say, wow, an Indian person helped create the technology inside of this phone. Therefore, I'm going to buy it or not going to buy it. It's silly. We just need to create stuff that people value and want. As far as our own personal lives, be the best. Get the best score. Study hard. Make it so that they can't live without you. And then you'll see an organic change instead of laws and legislation trying to make them like you, make you like me. Anyway, so what is your opinion on this? What do you have to say? Do you think that DEI is good for America? You think that what Trump is doing is right, not right? Leave your comment, and I always welcome them. This is why Zero Ambiguity was started, to foster great conversations so that we can learn and understand from each other. So at this time, I want to say thank you. I'm now up to 800 new subscribers. The channel is growing really fast. I want to say thank you to those who take the time to comment, also to view, and I just appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. All right, till the next time, thank you for watching Zero Ambiguity. I'll see you next time. Bye.